Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Ask Hugo number 27.
Wow. It's like it should be working on having a mortgage at this point.
Maybe you'd think so, but...
Like, it's still in its 20s, so like you let it slide, but if you hit 30 without like a long-term mate or like a prospective housing or maybe a solid job, like, then you're just a deadbeat.
Now see, the Ask Hugo series spent a lot of its 20s drinking, doing coke, just getting by, and now they're thinking about getting their act together, maybe going to a trade school, maybe learn to drive a truck.
Like an HVAC technician?
Yeah, like by the time they're 40, they're going to have their shit together. Anyway, so today, obviously, I'm here to answer more of your questions. I have quite a few today, so we need to get through them. Go ahead, Jake, take it away.
What a strange expression.
Take it away.
What are you taking, and where is it going?
You're taking the show and flushing it right down the tubes.
Okay. First turd in the toilet is Kawaii Bunny. I bet I'm not the first one to say, but hashtag WTFU, which is the hashtag that's running for Where's the Fair Use. We know that feel.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. I didn't really know when to do it, so I think Ask Hugo makes the most sense since it's a pretty open, talk about whatever type show.
I'd say so.
If you didn't see, Doug Walker, who is an internet reviewer, you might know him as the Nostalgia Critic, did a video called Where's the Fair Use? And this was after he had some issues with YouTube, getting his channel flagged and some stuff taken down and some monetization removed with no contact from YouTube. And if you don't know, this is a pretty systematic issue that's been going through YouTube for years, and now...
We've had it twice, two or three times?
Yeah, it's getting even worse, where companies are just flagging videos and reviews indiscriminately, taking people's money, taking away basically how they survive, because a lot of people like us, this is their job. And if you'd like to see that video, here's a link to it right here. It's a very good breakdown, basically, of the whole issue and what YouTube could do and what they need to do to try and help their creators.
Tell Doug we sent you.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell him we sent you. I'm just saying it's a really good thing, and I think more people need to be aware of it, especially if you like YouTube videos and you like the people who do stuff on YouTube. Like, YouTube is fucking people over consistently.
Yeah, it's like indirectly YouTube, because it's not necessarily specifically YouTube taking videos down, but they're allowing it to happen.
I think the fact that, but that's the point, they're allowing it. They're sitting back.
It's like a liability issue.
The people who are making YouTube money, the people who are making the YouTube videos, YouTube is allowing to get fucked over because there's just so many of them. One or two people getting majorly fucked. It doesn't affect them, but of course it affects the people who make the content a lot. So, you know, maybe if you watched this before, the issues we've had with it, we've had probably at least 4 false DMCA
We've had 2
takedowns.
real takedowns, though. We've had 2 big ones, where it was the Ray Comfort one, and then some random, I think it was a Korean guy. And then there was that Polish one, too.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so we've had a couple times that we've had to fight the bullshit DMCA policy on YouTube and the bullshit DMCA law in general. Every time we've been very lucky in the fact that we've stuck with it and we've won all of our claims, except for one. The one was our Passion of the Christ review, which we kind of just let go. We didn't get a flag or anything for it, but that video isn't available for you unless you're in, like, what was it? I think it's Spain. I think Spain, you can still see it, but...
Use your VPNs and pick Spain.
Yeah. Basically, it's just a whole fucked up system, and please, if you'd like to hear more about it and support creators and trying to get YouTube to get their shit together, go check out this video, share it with people if it's something you find to be of interest to you. If not, I get it. I don't think everyone needs to care, but if you like YouTube and you enjoy its content, this affects you, although not as much as it affects us and the people who make the content, but check it out if you get a chance.
Next dip into the honeypot is illogical assertions. So, Hugo, what if Jake were to suddenly be snatched up by a particularly malicious swarm of butterflies, which, if you don't know, Hugo is pretty famously afraid of. No, terrified of. You have only one chance to dive into the fluttering masses to save him from a horrifying fate. Would you be able to do it? I know the answer to this question.
See, here's the thing. I was thinking about it until you said fluttering masses, and that imagery is what gets me. See, I think I need to explain the butterfly thing a little better, too. It's not that, like, I'm scared of them. I know they're not, like, gonna hurt me. What I don't like about butterflies is they creep me out because of the fluttering and how thin their wings are. It's the same reason people are creeped out by spiders with their tiny legs crawling all over them.
Spiders have actively hurt people, and they look menacing.
But, you know what I mean?
Your main complaint is that they have appendages that resemble like tracing paper.
Yeah. Ugh.
Do you not like tracing paper?
It's like a thin organic film that wants to get in my face.
It's not a film. It's flesh. It's bug flesh.
I don't want it. I do not want it. I don't want to. It has too much surface area for bug cells. I don't like it.
Well, luckily, I won't need your help against butterflies. I'd do just fine against them. So.
No, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't. If for some reason he was incapacitated and there were butterflies swarming him, he's on his own. He's gonna wake up all.
What are they gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna wake up and it's just gonna be like a pleasant reminder that life is sometimes beautiful.
I don't want this.
Ridiculous. Another notch on his bedpost. Dear Hugo and Jake. What do you think about Jehovah's Witnesses? With an apostrophe that's misplaced. They don't possess my thought. Well, more specifically, do you think they're a cult? My mom's entire family used to belong to that religion, and a majority of them are adamant when they say it was a cult.
Jehovah's Witnesses are interesting, and I put them in the same category as Mormonism. It's interesting, you can actually see how sort of some religions go from cults into more mainstream, what you would call religions, because I think there's definitely a gradient. And you can see, if I put it on a scale, I'd say there's actual cults, like full of, just a group of people and a pragmatic leader. Then further along the time scale, you have something like Scientology, which pretty much everyone admits is mostly a cult, but it has religious status and is kind of accepted. Like, you can still kind of have a family be like, oh no, they're in Scientology, but the world at large kind of still goes, okay, I guess that's a thing. Even further along, you have stuff like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormonism, where it's been decentralized enough where it's pretty much openly accepted as a religion, even though it still has very cult-like situations where there is still a central power structure that dictates a lot of stuff. So it's hard to say, because again, shades of gray. I think it's closer to a cult than your average Christian would be, if that makes sense.
Did I say that this person's name was Zoe Marquardt?
I don't think I did. No.
It's the worst last name I've ever heard.
Marquardt?
Marquardt. It sounds like a, I don't know, the alien in charge of, like, watching, the jail. I'm
not okay with silent D's ever. There's just something that puts me off. Kind of like a letter butterfly.
You're so dumb. Next beer in the cooler is Amigdio's back. Amigdio's back. Amigdio's back. Panda. It's a panda. Dear Hugo, what are your thoughts on naturism, aka nudism? This is nudists. These are people that are naked.
If you want to be naked, like in your own home or in a community where it's accepted, or a nude beach or whatever, that's awesome. You do you. But me personally, I like having clothes. I don't like being naked, generally. Not my thing.
Yeah, it's not like a big deal. You can be naked, man. It's fine. You're a panda, though, so I mean, like, you're always naked.
Honestly, it's more of a public service for the nudists that I am not one, because I think if I joined a nudist colony or something, they'd start to rethink their life choices, and that's not fair for me to do that to them.
Or, plot twist, you'd become the alpha nudist. I don't know what that entails.
I can't have confidence with my dick out. I just can't.
I just imagine the most bashful sex ever.
Yeah, that's pretty much, you nailed it.
Next ice cube in the tray, Lunar Gabumon. Gabumon? Okay, that's just a Pokemon. Just one that has talk powers.
See, I was thinking it sounds more like a Digimon.
Yeah, because it ends with Mon.
It ends with Mon.
You're probably right. Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be too humanoid. Fuck Digimon, man. They're supposed to be cool animals, not an angel.
Yeah, I want to know what would happen if I want to see a Digimon Pokemon crossover where there's some sort of. I was actually talking about this the other day. This is the life I live, where I'm talking about Digimon Pokemon crossovers relatively frequently. And I was talking about it, and then I thought, it'd be trash. You know why? Because in every crossover that has to justify the two different universes coming together, it's always some one-off villain that has some sort of interdimensional power set, and that's why they're coming together to fight that, because it's the only way in a screenplay to justify that and also have a villain that makes sense, and it's garbage.
Why not have the villain, though, when you ask his motivation, he goes, "'Cause it's cool, though."
Okay, that'd be fine. Have a villain that's actually from the real world and just wants to see a Pokemon Digimon crossover event.
You're the villain.
Oh, okay. I'll be the villain, And I'll...
Should we answer this person's question?
Oh, fuck, I guess. Sure, go for it.
Okay,
I guess.
all
I'm
right,
sorry
all
if
right.
we're...
We'll table that discussion.
Okay, we'll table it. Table it for later.
Apparently this was in reply, but it's I don't know, it's a weird way to phrase
the last
this.
time I asked Hugo, if you don't remember, we talked about otherkin, and I basically talked about how it's not a real thing. So then this guy said this.
Okay. I also don't think you should tell otherkin that they're not a dragon or wolf, etc. I think that's a bit of a jerk move. They identify that for comfort. They identity it for comfort? You know, makes sense. They don't do it for them to be special, air quotes. I think it's alright if people identify themselves as a dragon as long as it isn't personally harming anyone.
Okay. See, here's the difference, though, when you're talking about this. For one, no, not necessarily everyone does it to feel like they're special. I'm sure some people do use the otherkin thing as a sort of self-comfort to try and find an identity or whatever, and maybe it is for them. But when you're talking about insecurities and stuff, there are good coping strategies and bad coping strategies, and this goes for anything, not just insecurity and otherkin. I mean, this goes for all things when you're dealing with stuff psychologically. Positive and negative coping strategies. A positive coping strategy is generally something maybe like self-affirmation, something that can bring you into a positive place and feel better about yourself. An unhealthy strategy is something where you're completely lying to yourself and buying into delusion. It's for the same reason that even though some people are religious and pretty benign and not hurting anyone, I don't think that makes them right about being religious. You know what I mean? Just because believing in a god makes you feel better doesn't make you correct. And just because believing that you have the spirit of a wolf makes you feel better, that doesn't make you correct either. Sure, they might not be hurting anyone outwardly in an obvious way, but over the long term, that's not a strategy that's going to be effective for their life in society or as a person, and it's not going to be good for them. Now listen, if that's something that's either helped you or someone else, that's cool for a short term and it gets you to the next place that you need to be. But in the long term, you need healthy coping strategies that deal in the world of reality and not thinking you're a fucking dragon.
Also, by the way, I just think it's healthy to tell people when they're being delusional.
Yeah.
Like, just because it might hurt their feelings doesn't make it a jerk move. Like, if I think I can fly, you better tell me that I can't fly and don't jump off that building. You know what I'm saying? It's a delusion and it harms no one but myself, but it's irresponsible to not warn me.
Yeah.
Anyways, although I wouldn't akin being an otherkin to jumping off a building, but I'm just saying. Soul Render 95 is here doing things. Dear Hugo. Is that like the juice? So should I say Hugo?
I don't know.
Which makes it sound more like you. Anyways. If you got Cronenberg, would you become one entity with two heads or two separate Cronenbergs? And if separate, who would be the best looking Cronenberg, least human? And what extra limbs would you gain from the change? Also, are you Swifty? I am. We should all get Swifty. This comment just... oh, so good. Wubba lubba dub dub!
If we were to be Cronenberg, we'd definitely be one entity. We'd get Cronenberged into each other. We'd get the Fly Cronenberged, not Videodrome Cronenberged, if that makes sense. We'd definitely become one being, and we'd also bring Jeff Goldblum into the mix just to make sure it's authentic Cronenberg. So I think it would have my head sort of halfway out where just my eyes can see, but I can't talk anymore. But you can hear my muffled screams of pain emanating from within Jake's torso, and then Jeff Goldblum's head, and he just explains chaos theory to everyone as they walk by, and the rest is just amorphous. Kind of like, you know that story, I have no mouth, but I must scream. It's a short story. It'd be a little bit like that, but with Jeff Goldblum as a head, which I think makes it more meaningful.
Here's another fly in the ointment. Clip-on sunglasses says, "Sup, faggots? What are some YouTube channels, if any, exist that you know of that espouse the most fringe, extreme, or radical viewpoints that you still felt was content worth watching, even if you'd end up disagreeing with them on a lot of things?"
I didn't have one that's like politically or religiously motivated necessarily, which I think is what you were going for, but along these lines, there's a YouTube vegan named John Sackers. See, Jake knows. He's awesome. And I'll tell you why.
So not
he
awesome.
Once did. He's so, and I don't think I'm being mean, because genuinely he seems like the nicest guy. Maybe a little pretentious, but
creepy.
He seems like he's trying to be nice, but he comes off as awfully creepy sometimes. But goddamn, he has music videos that he makes himself about.
You know what the best part is? When he invites his friends on and they seem just awkwardly okay with being there.
Yeah, it's so.
And they have like conversations
and
about
all his friends are like 20 years older than him.
It's like if every Tim and Eric skit in the whole world was real without the editing.
Yeah, it's so strange. And once he did a video, and it was. I think he was on Tosh. He was on Tosh.0 for this season. Actually,
was he?
Yeah, he got on Tosh.0, and he again seems like he has the best intentions. He just comes off.
Did you submit it? Because you're a huge fan.
No, I didn't. Surprisingly, I was shocked when I saw he was on there. He did this video once where it was like 20 or 30 minutes long, where it was supposed to be like a POV of him eating you out. And it was like, this is for all the vegan women, you beautiful vegan women.
It was so gross.
And it was like 30 minutes of him miming cunnilingus to nothing and then dirty talking things like, I'm gonna lick your beautiful vegan vagina. And he also said, like, if you're a man, he's like, I'm not gay, but if you want to be a man and pretend I'm licking your vegan penis, that's okay too. It's so strange. If you can find, he deleted it from his channel, by the way, but if you can find that video, you fucking sit there for 30 minutes and you watch the whole thing like I did, because it's almost like a test of your will to see how much cringe you can deal with. It's beautiful. And again, nothing against this guy. He seems like a nice guy, but he is a fucking weirdo. Please check it out if you get a chance.
Nothing personal, but your personality is awful.
Bonus channel, Gail. From if you've seen Drunken Peasants, you've seen her videos with.
I don't watch that shit. I'd say Stephen Christ.
Stephen Christ is crazy too, but Gail has a new cocky, which is literally a nuke full of cum, and then she also came up with a poo cocky, which is a nuke full of poop.
She's got to be not real.
No, she has an obsession with Brett Spiner too, and I saw it was actually hilarious. Someone linked me to this at one point because I think I was talking about her. It was a video where someone at a convention asked Brett Spiner, like, "Are you aware of her?" And he's like, "Yes, I don't want to talk about it." Which means she's probably tried to contact him at some point.
It's Brent Spiner, by the way.
Did I say Brett?
Yeah, Brett's the worst name.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, Data. Anyway.
Next nacho on the pile is Pyrotechnist. Dear Hugo, I lived in Miami. No, I'm kidding. Wouldn't that be great? Dear Hugo, I lived in Miami. Period. I speak both English and Spanish. Humble brag. I work in retail and some customers don't speak a word of English, and when I try to speak to them in Spanish, they make fun of my grammar, so I pretend I don't know. They go on to how important it is to be bilingual, but when they themselves aren't. This really bugs me, as I am bilingual, and you get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty. We get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think it's always weird when someone comes to the United States and lives here and like refuses to learn English. If you just came here and you're trying to learn, respect, great, good job trying to do it. But there are genuinely some people who come and are like, fuck it, whatever. No, I mean, seriously, you're gonna handicap yourself and make other people deal with your lack of language skills? Like,
yeah. There are Americans that do the same thing when they go overseas. They're like, I'm not learning another language. If I
move to another country, like regardless of what it is, even if a lot of the population speaks English, like in Europe, a lot of countries, a lot of people do speak English as a second language already. I'd still, if I was going to live there, I'd learn the language of the country. It might take a while, but I would still attempt to do it because it would make life easier for myself and the people around me.
Why am I going to visiting a country? I might.
I don't know why. Why are you asking others to cater to you when you're the new one? I don't get it. Whatever.
Hugo, these people probably have like 200 or 300 Twitter followers. That they're important.
I guess so.
Another Tic Tac in the box. Steven Taylor says, "Why all the hate for Jake? Is it a running gag or are all these legit?" And this is from the last Ask Hugo, where apparently Hugo picked hateful comments towards me.
Yeah, I'd argue it's a little bit of both. We all hate Jake, and it is a running gag. We're hoping to... We have meetings. We're hoping to wear him down slowly like erosion on a rock to the point where eventually he will decide to end his own life, and then I can do solo projects, and the channel will be better for it.
Sorry, what?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
And the last sip of the drink is Alexander Wood. Hey, Mr. Sexy Hugo and the Thing. You gotta capitalize that if that's me. How often do you guys toss the salad, choke the chicken, or fire your bazooka? Tossing the salad, choking the chicken, and firing the bazooka, not the same thing.
This is why I picked the comment. I'm not going to answer your question. I just think you are in dire need. You need to please watch this video. You cannot go the rest of your life thinking that tossing a salad and choking the chicken are the same thing. You're going to wind up in a very awkward situation at some point if I don't prevent this.
Right, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I toss salads."
Yeah,
I toss them,
and people are gonna be like, "What?" Just so you know,
gonna present themselves to you, and you're gonna have to do things you weren't prepared to do.
Yeah, just so you know, choking the chicken, fire your bazooka, sure. Masturbation, tossing the salad is licking someone else's asshole. It's performing analingus on someone.
Right. I mean, if you're into that, that's cool. But if you're looking towards dick and you think you're gonna touch it, nope. Your mouth is gonna be licking a butthole.
I'm just saying, just for your own. This is a warning. Maybe if I've done anything in my life, it'll be preventing this guy from accidentally getting into a situation where he has to lick a butt that he didn't want to. And you know what? I think that deserves some sort of commendation.
That could go either way. What if he's never gonna lick a butt because now he's scared? But had he gone into it ignorantly and accidentally got tricked into licking a butthole, maybe he would have found something he really enjoyed to do, like a new hobby.
Maybe I just ruined this guy's life. I don't know. But at least I
hope this guy's life doesn't hinge on whether or not he enjoys licking other people's butt cracks.
I'm like 90% sure it does, if I'm being honest. This guy has a really sad life. Anyway, that's the end of this episode of Ask Hugo. As always, ask me questions in the comments for next time. Feel free to tell Jake to fuck right off, because...
Or tell me to fuck right in.
Yeah, ask him to jerk off or toss a salad or whatever. So, you can always follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can always follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded, or you could always ask me to peg. You never know what's going to work. And you could also subscribe, and you can see which one of those things I do next time.
You can always donate to our Patreon campaign. We do a once-a-month Patreon-only hangout, and that's a lot of fun. I'm so used to saying that with those exact words now. It's like second nature.
At this point, is it actually even fun to do the hangouts, or is it just something that you say?
I don't know. We'll see.
I guess you'll have to become a patron and come see. Maybe, just for yourself.
Maybe
you see how that worked?
Yeah.
You see how we tied you in? Gotcha. We're like that giant squid in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or whatever that was.
I have no idea how that's related. But anyway, until next time.
No, we wrap them up like a boat.
Oh, okay. Well, you could use like tentacle hentai too, whatever.
And I'm Liam Neeson.
And is this a thing? What was Liam Neeson in that's related to this?
Taken 1 through 3.
Oh, and I'm Liam Neeson's daughter.
You need better supervision because I'm not doing it for you.
Okay. And this has been The Bible Reloaded, Electric Boogaloo.